Magadi Komayawe. My name is Eunice Kapandura. I'm one of many Thomas Mapfumo's backing vocalists. Blacks Unlimited is one band which is, I think, up to now maybe 100 members. It has evolved. A lot of people, maybe people that were there before I was born, have always been part of Blacks Unlimited band, and we are so happy that we're still kicking new members, young generations joining the band, and still looking forward to more shows and more artwork. So today I'm going to take you through my day-to-day life, how I go about my personal and my passion, and eventually being part of Thomas Mapfumo's music. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what I do. But whenever the manager, be it Baba Fadzi or Blessing Vava or Mdara himself, okay, Mdara has never called me for a job. I'm still part of the Blacks Unlimited band. Yeah, my first time knowing that I could be part of the Blacks Unlimited band. Apparently, I can safely say Mdara Thomas Mapfumo has some intelligence somehow. Like he has teams of people that tell him stuff, if that works, if that makes sense. So there was a day we had lunch at Kwamurongo. Kwamurongo is Kwamurongo is a restaurant that is run by Dr. Simba Makoni's wife in Mount Pleasant. It's a joint where creatives and people who are critics just meet up, have their lunches. They serve beautiful traditional food. So occasionally, me and Mbuya Stella Chiweshe would go there, sit down, discuss some stories with Tonde. Hey, Tonde akafa. Alonza mwana wamekona sana. Okay, okay. So Kwamurongo is a restaurant that is run by Dr. Simba Makoni's wife. So back then, myself and the late also Thomas Deve, who was a very close friend of mine. Thomas was a good friend. And Mbuya Stella Chiweshe would go there, sit, have our lunches occasionally with Ras I, the one who was running the restaurant. So, and then after that, they'll ask me to do poetry. They made fun of me. He was like, just do poetry, okay. So as I was doing poetry, there was one of Mukanya's guys who was like, who are you? I'm Eunice. I'm an artist. I do this. Oh, okay. I like your ideology in delivering these speeches. I'm like, okay. Do you sing? I was about to say no. I'm a poet, but then Mbuya said, she's the one. you know how Mbuya Stella, she is laid back and calm and composed. He was like, anoimba uyu ndiye anondibatsira vanodaira magumbo. And this guy was like, really? Like, yeah. So I can safely say it was kind of a coincidence. And I said, I'd like to hear what you've done so far. I'm scouting for talent for a certain project. He did not tell me what particular project. I said, yes, I can. So after I was gone, we exchanged numbers. And then I was like, Mbuya, ko Suganzama Gumbo. You don't see yourself the way I see you. That's how we even chat, like, great one. But she says, you don't even know what power you have. You don't know the influence you have on people, on that singing. Iorda Wimbasan. Karabatka, Zuma choreo, choral, whatever, nice. No. Okay. I would give it a try. Then she left for Germany. She go visit her. I stayed back and I went to meet up with Munya Viali. I told him, Munya, you know me, I do poetry, but there's someone let's try music. So Munya, bring it on. Okay. But I don't know how to write music. I write people, I write characters, I write shapes. So he said, I can give you people who can make you do music. But I have a few friends who make music, people. I have been around a lot of musicians. So Munya said, if you're saying all these people are your friends, you just do your poetry and these people can do your music. Like, okay. That's a brilliant idea. So I did an album, a whole 8-track album, in a space of 2 weeks. The first one, Suleiman did the first song with me. It was called Machinda. So he would help a lot on the singing part, and I would deliver the poem on top of the. It was a spoken word and music project. So Diana and Kessia and Sulu Fishers in that CD. And then I after about a month, this guy called me. Eunice, we are doing an audition. Ambia told me that you bake a music, and she said, yes, I'm a dancer. Even at Amakosi, we were trying to dance. Even, you cannot do theater without dancing. When we were at Shirorodziwa Theater Club in Chinoi, it was shouting, being owning the stage, like massive stage presence, because you need to deliver dialogue, body language, and all. So I'm like, no problem. I have no problem in dancing. I can dance all night. Good. Do you know you can do a few Mkanya songs? Yeah, I have a few that I know because Babangu used to listen to that. I said, you can come. We're having an audition at New Ambassador Hotel. I went there. We auditioned. We were about 12. But I knew from the settings that he had liked my ideology. Because he said, bring me that CD you've done with your friends. I gave him. He had already sent it to Dr. Thomas Mapfumo. So we went for the audition, and out of the 12, it was me and a generator, evidence. We used to bake Jab Praiser then. So we agreed we were going on our first tour. That was 2015. I'd already won my MTV award. I've already made money through theater, because I don't want to lie to you. Of all the art disciplines I've been in, I have squashed money through theater. I think theater pays more than anything so far. I hope I will get into maybe big films, and for me to realize, these films pay. But theater is my is my milk cow. It's very hectic. It's more painful than film, because you use your everything to convince the next person who is watching you, and it takes a lot of rehearsal. You cannot do. There's no one who edits your act. You have to do it. Thomas Mapfumo is one man that I know. I can safely say he's a living legend. Yes, in terms of music, but to me, he might even qualify for a peace icon. He stands for what is right. No matter who is on his way, he can actually stand and tell you, no, you know what, this doesn't work, and we end here. I was surprised to know that he doesn't drink beer. For me, it was like, I thought artists need alcohol to get the confidence to do what they do. He doesn't. He takes his Fanta, he takes his light drinks, and yeah. My favorite song is also an emotional song for me, because at times I just lose it. I can cry when I'm playing it on my own. It's called Mvuranga Inai. Prior to every show, he composes a new song. So you can say we are playing this playlist, and then when you're in the studio, he's like, can you try this bezel or whatever, bira or whatever instrument? Can you try this beat? okay, girls, can you sing like this? Okay, and people don't know that song. Like, I want that song to come out. He keeps writing. When he's singing in a rehearsal studio, he'll be sitting down, and you guys will be doing whatever you're doing. When he gets on stage, on the show, it's like there's this powerful brand that comes on him. So the rest of the guys were here, and some were coming from America, some were coming, we were all meeting in South Africa. So I told them, okay, fine, I'll go to Swaziland. The night that I finish, that Intwasa finishes, it was finishing around 5. My flight was at 7 p.m. to Joburg. And that worked. People already, they had arrived that morning, and I joined them. We were scared. The scary part was me knowing that I'm not that melodious. I'm a musician, but I can't compare my voice to those Prudence Katomenes, the Fungisais. I can't. So I was very nervous. And knowing the hearsay, people used to say he's a no-nonsense man. And also growing up listening to his music, when we were in grade 1, we were singing corruption, corruption. I didn't know what was corruption then, and now I understand what is corruption. And listening to his music growing up, it was just protest, even before independence. So I don't know what I was expecting, but I just said, Eunice, fine, just be here and see what happens. So yeah, the first day, obviously you don't see him. We'll be staying at our own place. We met him at the rehearsal venue. So it's a journey. But we got there. The first thing was like, okay, who is singing what part? And then Bla Austin asked him to allow us to greet him. And said, oh, okay. He had apparently forgotten that we met. And he started, Makadiko, Tinofara Makadi, Tinofara, Diani Nani. We introduced ourselves and said, okay, which songs do you want to try? And that's how we started. By lunch, it was like, all day, whatever you want. It was an amazing experience. I had never been so close to an artist who had so much attention around him, to the extent that you as the backing vocalist, you can cry. It was being around Thomas Mapfumo and his fans changes something in you. You get to understand, because those fans are not nje fans. They are, can I say, religiously Chimurenga. Yes, they are religiously Chimurenga. They are not this diehard that they say, okay, they want to throw stones. No, they breathe. They eat everything every day. I've met people who play Chimurenga music only in their lives, and they are diverse. They're diverse. We have country leaders who are his fans, with whatever. We have anyone, any person can, just young and old. So the South Africa show, it was like one of his few after a long time, of which he usually does. He goes, he rests and comes back. The fans didn't want to see anyone around Thomas, including the band. They would say, I'm taking him to so-and-so restaurant. I'm taking him to so-and-so restaurant. We did not have time with him. Up to now, wherever we go, as he gets into that country, someone will pick him at the airport, take him to his house, give him food, whatever, pay for whatever is. Yeah. And then for you guys to actually, is only when you are in a rehearsal. When it comes to stage, it's like there's this huge power that comes over him, and you'll be all over. I was born and bred in Chinoi. we didn't have much exposure to film production, theater. All we used to do was perform in schools, do live shows at community centers. So I grew up a writer, and I'm very passionate about writing. My first show with Thomas Mapfumo was at the Basement in 2015 in Johannesburg. It was an overpacked show. The fans actually overthrew the fence, and the security, our security was occasionally overpowered because the fans demanded so much of Thomas Mapfumo. They wanted photos, they wanted pictures. I worked with Oliver Mtukudzi on film projects. I worked with Oliver Mtukudzi on film projects. When I was at Media for Development Trust, I would go to do some work on development with Mdara. To me, he was just Mdara. He was my friend. Very relaxed, and I don't know why, because I think he was just Mdara. So, up until I think the time it was a bit late, I never told him that I had interest in singing. Like I told you how I chose singing. It was kind of Ambuya's recommendation. You can do it. You think it belonged to the spiritual chants or whatever. You can sing. But working with Mdara Mtukudzi, it was on mostly HIVOS projects, projects for the HIV and AIDS community, projects for development, maybe behind the crew, and so we interacted at a very social level. Obviously, I would access the shows for free. Like if I want to attend this show, I would make sure I communicate in advance. I'll be coming, and I was given the opportunity. But I didn't want, I wasn't expecting to be talking about Oliver Mtukudzi because I think one of the few shows he attended was my show. In November 2018. November 2018, I had a show at Pakarepai. I usually have shows at Pakarepai. So I went there with my band. So he was not well. He was not well. And but before that, he had schooled me about punctuality. He had said, Eunice, you're a crazy creative. You are a crazy creative. Your weakness is how gonna kubuda mumba. And I said, no, Dad, have you ever been to my house? So I don't need to come to your house to know that you cannot get out of the house. I laughed, but I said, no, Dad, no. I promise you, if I ask you to send me something, you deliver on time. But if I ask you to come, do you realize it's been like 3 times Tangira, like me coming before you? I was so embarrassed. So I told myself, if I'm going to Pakarepai or any other project, because this project that I will be late, maybe we will be asked to meet, maybe at a conference center or whatever, but still you notice that in Nanunok. So on this particular show, I went there 40 minutes before the show. I was at Pakarepai, greeting people, what, and I had my friends. I have this group called Friends of Eunice, which I'm forever grateful for. They fund almost everything I do. Friends of Eunice are the kind of people I say, guys, we want to open a soup kitchen in Chitungisa, and they'll say, I'm bringing this. I'm thinking, guys, we want to donate clothes to children in Zwarasekwa. Friends of Eunice group would just. It's people that God put in my life. Yeah, that's all I can say. It's people God put in my life. They are not my funders. Funders will ask you for receipts because they will be doubting your motives. But these people will tell you, no, if I give Eunice $10, she's going to put dollar to her airtime. But I know that the 9% will go exactly. So I've been with these people for more than 17 years. They've been funding this childhood HIV and AIDS project for 12 years now, including this event we had yesterday. It was all my friends. I haven't received any donor funding yet. So it's a very lucky life, I should say. But I think now I can move to engage outsiders and whatever. So yeah, I got there. I got at Pagarepai 40 minutes before the event. My guys were setting up sound. We're doing a sound check. I knew Mdara was not well. I had spoken to Bob Nyabinde the day before. I was telling him, Mdara, how I wish you would have come. And he told me, I'm not feeling well. And neither is Mdara Tukwe as well. But you just do your thing. Pagarepai is for everyone. So we were setting up the band. I went to a dressing room and what. And Mdara came. When I saw Oliver Mtukudzi coming, like to the stage where we were trying to set up, I got down and I greeted him. Baba, how are you? Shikanzi, ndaya kuzoona kuti waya nguvai ndaseka Mdara no, it's fine. Sanzi, ndada kuona kuti waya nguvai. We laughed. Shikanzi, you owe me dinner. Like he always said, you ladies have money. He would ask you for a drink or what. And he said, I also wanted to check if you're not punctual. I said, okay, I'm here, I'm there. And he was with Edmos Pazakavambwa. Edmos was the guy we had met earlier on at Kwamrongo's restaurant with Mbiya Stella Chwesh. What hurts most is they both died. They both died within the next year. So Oliver Mtukudzi could not stay for my show. I said, you know what, Eunice, I came to make sure you now master the art of coming early for your show. I'm not going to stay for your show. It's too cold. I have medicines that I take every hour. I will leave because by 6 I should be in the house. We got a picture. Edmos on the left side, Mdara on my right side. We paused for a photo and he went. It was difficult. Later, a month later, and he died. Yeah, I went to the funeral and I'm happy. I was one of the few young women he wants to see grow. He always told me, just like what Stella Chwesh always say, that there's something in me that I don't know as well. And I'm glad that we interacted, and I have the photos to the memory. But it was difficult. I met Oliver Mtukudzi for the first time in 2003. He was a friend to my then late boss, Lynn Francis. So Oliver Mtukudzi, to me, was not the celebrity. He was a baba Right, you would come to our office, sit down, you would eat the traditional foods that we would have prepared with Lind and the crew at the center. That's how we worked. Every time he's called up for a project, he would come and deliver. And articles that were done, I'm a family therapist by qualification. Articles that were done in the office is all confidential, but we have this very easygoing understanding, and like I'm saying that I kind of relax myself and I surrender to a certain extent that someone can just share with me and just prefer talking to me than talking to other people because I'm a therapist and a healer. The projects can still be done. These projects can still be done, but the funding community now is not really supportive of arts. What I realize is artists, when your brand is out there, when it's really up and running, you can do some amazing work with the community that will build your audience confidence in you. I think that was Mdara's biggest strength. He just doesn't want. He wasn't just a stage man. He was someone who knew how to get to people. I've seen him doing surprise weddings. I've seen him, doing diabetes and cancer. He was fun. He was an easygoing man and very predictable. You know that if Mdara is here and he's doing this and this, yeah. And like I said, I worked with him where I was working, not in art. So in public health, we sign confidentiality forms. We don't talk much about people who come to us as clients, but yes, everybody goes through issues, and everybody can use a counselor or a therapist at any time. That was just me and Tuku. But that, like I told you about him then supporting my art, that was also a benefit. Even Munyavia was his keyboard player. And when I told him, I'm now working with Munyavia, we are doing the project, we have recorded this dub poetry and music, video, audio. I was like, Munya is excellent. We support. Please come to Pagarepae anytime. And yeah, we'll do that. Working with Sulumani Chumbetu was fun. He's a very humble guy, very humble. Shogute, I was surprised. And he is always willing to learn. He's open to new ideas. He's someone who will not think twice about making a decision. Like, if it's like, okay, make an appointment. No, he doesn't feel like he's just like, okay, you want me to do now? Okay, let me just finish whatever I'm doing. Yeah, he's that open. He's a very simple person. And like for that time, he was my neighbor in Melbourne. So it was more like, my neighbor, please come help me on this. And he came. Up to now, we have a very good relationship with Solomani. Recently we did Simon Chimbetu commemoration for Ngoda TV. It wasn't really, I was not part of his band. His band doesn't really do female backing vocalists, but I was working with Kurai Makore, who is Thomas Mapfumo's son. So we were together. It was about Simon Chimbetu commemoration. And the whole of the Chimbetus are a very amazing group of people. The sister Saiwe, the Bamnini, Alan, Trison, everyone. We are good. Okay, during high school, we had opportunities to go into national drama, do drama and what. But just afterwards, I started working with a community group called Chirorodziwa in my hometown. Chirorodziva, made up of the legendary, to us in our community, was David Chimbalami. David was one theatre practitioner who was trained by then the Zimbabwe Association of Community Theatre, and Joseph Farakeza. They were like mentoring us as we were just upcoming theatre practitioners. So as we did the tours around our province, we were then noticed by a producer from Harare. His name is Devs Guja. That time they were working on a project with Mr. Walter Mtukudzi and Quentin Planga. It was a national tour on the political dialogue of our country. So I kept my passion of writing throughout high school. By the age of 14, I was a member of Zimbabwe Women Writers Association, and I was the secretary for Budding Writers Association. So I'll write poems, I'll write films, anything that was coming. My first drama was aired on radio when I was Form 4. Just after high school, we started touring Marsh West with the likes of David Chimbalami and Joseph Farakeza. So those are my people, David Chimbalami, Joseph Farakeza, and Mary Nabanda. We were a team of 4. We'll do projects in the community. We'll do drama and cleanups and what, so that everybody just knew we were the Chinoi drama. We are still Chirorodziva. I'm still Chirorodziva. David Chimbalami and Joseph Farakeza were former Zimbabwe Association of Community Theatre practitioners. They were trained under Ngugi Wathiong, I think. So our team was strong. So an opportunity came when Mr. Devs Guja and Mr. Walter Mtukudzi came to our province looking for people who were in theatre to go for a national tour. I can safely say that was my life-changing experience, because I get exposed to just people outside my farming community. You remember, I said, it's just me, my mother, my teachers, the farmers, the white farmers then. So it was nice just getting out of our small town, and we traveled all the way to Bulawayo to be part of the national tour that was being held at Amakosi. We did the training under, of course, the Itate, Quentin Planga, and a whole lot of artists that had this level of resilience and conviction that made me think, oh, these are the stories that artists should be talking about. We cannot wait to put our lives in the hands of maybe politicians or policymakers to just express how we feel. So I was like, okay, my writing should change direction. I should write things that inspire people. Okay. I can safely say I was really inspired by Devs Guja as a producer. He really inspires me to stand out. He's one man. Back then it was so scary to even stand up against the late President Robert Mugabe. But reading his script, seeing his work, I was like, ha, I can. Apparently why I like that, because my own home was taken away by one ZANU-PF counselor in my hometown in Chinoi. Apparently this counselor, I'll name him, his name was Mr. Mazani. So he had then married another wife, and he had power then. So my father was frail, he was not well, and he made up some story about arrears, water bill arrears, and he said this family should be evicted. So I was the only person at the house when these guys who were supposed to evict us came. They came, heavy, whatever, Bobo Jani, those heavy boats and whatever, because they were ready to actually take out our property in case they had found no one at home. They told me what they wanted, and I allowed them to just take. They put our property outside the house, and then they locked. It was a very sad memory. All my works I did Super Patriots and Morons, where we're also doing a comparison of who then can be called a patriot, who can say I am a Zimbabwean and I love Zimbabwe more than anybody. So I've been blessed, like from a very tender age. I've traveled Europe, Asia, most parts of Africa. But in a nutshell, I can say I will be a protest artist, but still I have my own passion as a woman. I love seeing children becoming better people. So when I was just growing up around 2002, that's when we had a weekly death rate of maybe 33,000 children dying, and a lot of deaths, AIDS-related deaths among adults as well. So I was inspired, and I started working with these communities because in my own family, I've also lost a lot of people to HIV. So I pushed, and in 2007, I found myself in Rwanda. When I was in Rwanda, we got time to exchange notes with other implementers. It was an implementers meeting. And then we moved to the next meeting where we were in Nairobi, and I was part of an MTV Staying Alive project. And they asked us about our ideas about filmmaking. And we were put in teams. And I wrote this, being that crazy writer, I wrote this funny film that gave comparisons about the lives, the choices we can make. If you go back to my story, you can say, okay, I can never really choose this because I was hurt to this level. So I wrote this very short, I think it was like 15 minutes short concept. And they said, we like this. And I won. Yes, I have an MTV award, what do you call it? Shield? No. Souvenir, kind of. Yeah, souvenir in my house. And I'm proud of it. We got money on that award. It was money. I just said, I can actually do more. And at a personal level, at household level, I had also lost a very dear child due to AIDS. She was my niece, and her parents both died, and I had to take care of her from 7 weeks to about 18 months. In those 18 months, it was like a hell lot of pain. We did everything. And losing the baby Chantel at my hands was very tough. I will make sure that parents who are exposed to HIV know their HIV statuses, and also make informed decisions about childbearing. Because if you do not have the finances to take care of your feeding, the feeding options that you have, or your basic nutrition, it may be better not to even consider having children. So I said, I cannot tell people this just by like word of mouth. Hi, how are you? I'm Eunice. Okay. So let me establish an organization, something that will put my vision together. Because my personal vision, and I'm happy, I'm one person who sees their vision come to life every day, because I just want to see a smile on everyone's face. So yeah, I started Chaz. It's now in the 12th year. It's been a hard journey because I'm kind of different and difficult, in the sense that initially I thought we can do it. We can sustain ourselves. I focused on mental health as a personal passion. I believe in peace, so I know everything begins in the mind. So I've been running that. So the mental health consultancy firm is the one that has been funding childhood HIV and AIDS Zimbabwe.